Hello everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Role Players. All right, so we're back. Maddie?
Stronger than ever.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Anyone.
I can hear you. I mean, that's
I can hear you.
That's a sign.
Most importantly, can.
Timmy the Sport can hear me.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Okay.
Yay.
We are go
What
for
was
launch.
the issue? We don't know.
Sweet.
Affirmative.
Okay, I am ready to give some announcements.
Yeah, can we get some announcements?
I've been dying to hear them.
Okay.
Let's do some
I've never
announcements.
wanted to hear
Right?
announcements so much in my whole life.
And thank you everybody for hanging in there while we dealt with that. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Our first announcement is a thank you to our two amazing sponsors, Skull Splitter Dice and Thrill Studio.
Skull Splitter.
Skull Splitter Dice has amazing varieties of dice. You need them, go check them out. And if anyone knows our code, our discount code, that was not sent to me.
15. TRP 15. Save you 15%. I mean, how could you not? Come
How
on.
could you not?
They're amazing.
And
Speakeasy, like
our
he's not gonna
other
Better than Geico.
sponsor is Thrill Studio.
Thrill Studio.
They have
Real Studios.
minis galore. They have minis you might not have. They have minis that might be limited edition that they snagged for you if you want them. I believe they have painted minis. They have unpainted minis. So if you need
They do.
minis, check them out. And if you want a discount, our discount code, Judd, is...
Oh shit! I realized I got it backwards. Skull Splitter is TRP SS 15, and
That was
Thrill
a quiz.
Studios is TRP 15. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
And now you passed.
15%
All
off
right.
both of those
Feel better
sponsors,
now.
guys. So
I mean, come on.
thank you.
Very generous. Love
Our
it.
next announcement is very important. We want to say a huge thank you to everyone for helping us reach 500 followers.
Yes, guys.
Yeah, seriously, that was
Thank you.
last episode was amazing.
was a party
Thank
last
you.
time.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Say amazing.
Next announcement, we're going to try to get through these quickly because I know y'all are ready for some D&D.
Yeah, we want to get in.
What do you do?
Next announcement is this Wednesday in our Numenera stream, we will have actor, writer, gamer, good friend of mine, Zach Paul Brown as a guest.
Good old Zachy.
So come check it out. We stream at 8 p.m. Pacific and check out how he'll help or hurt our Ninth World heroes.
I mean, he better help. Just saying.
I can't wait.
If he's not there to help,
I'm checking
Yeah.
him out.
Oh, we're losing you. We're losing you.
IMDb.
great.
Yeah. Okay,
Who are
cool.
we losing?
I'm joking. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, we
I was
have
like, you
trauma.
can't hear
so-
me.
Zach Paul
Oh yeah, I
Brown.
realize that's not a joke I make right now. Sorry.
The
Zach Paul Brown
PTSD.
is spicy.
Broken again. Okay, our last announcement before we start the game is, speaking of guests, we may have one on tonight. If
What?
you're curious, you're just going to have to hang out with us and
Hold on.
find out.
Hold on. What?
Yeah. Yeah. May happen. We'll see. We'll
Wow.
see. It's all dependent on what you all do. So
I'm a little scared right now.
That's a lot of
as we all
I
should
was
be.
gonna
Yes.
say you look
Don't
either
be
offended
scared.
or scared. It was one of the two.
And I've heard this person has just gorgeous ears, but little shy when showing
You
them. So
may or
we'll
may
see.
not see.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, you know.
Oh, I'm gonna see ears before.
Meeting? I'm not sure. That's a lot to ask.
All right. Well, Maddie,
Ears
thank
are
you
a
so much
big
for the
ask.
announcements.
You're welcome.
We'll go to our intro. We'll be right back, and we will play tonight's episode of the Role Players. Hang in there.
We're gonna play that.
It's ready.
Let me tell you a story about a time that me and my friends found a new world. It started on a ship brought together by a storm. We traveled through the rift to a new world beyond. We were thrown into shackles, we were hunted down by thieves, but we'll never let it stop us from saving a Niagara Lee. For we are
in. All right, hello. So,
Hello.
since we're off to a little bit of a late start, we're going to jump right in. So, last week in Anacroli, you all having successfully navigated the ancient temple of Chateaureau, you recovered the map that leads to a powerful weapon and a set of armor. And having finished and gone outside and seeing it was nighttime, you decided it's safer to camp out for the night just inside the entrance, which you did. Otto, you had a moment communing with your patron in which it's clear he has, yes, maybe he did, has some designs for you in Asley when you reach it. And maybe. And then also maybe that your friends might need to be dealt with at some point. There was a little bit of a hint about that.
Dealt with?
Yeah. Well, the next morning, you all woke and you encountered an unusual bird, Tabitha, that you read about in the book that Seville gave you. You all stepped outside. You saw this unnatural bird with glowing eyes and just this stillness as it surveyed you all, and then finally took off with just complete silence. Erisette, you first, and then Tabitha, you found some of the feathers from this strange, the feathers seem to be crystalline.
Yes.
As you held them up to the light, you could see they had this kind of purplish amethyst look to them, this translucent appearance. They were beautiful. Well, you all pushed on. You left the valley of the Cat's Teeth Mountains, and you made your way to Asley. And approaching the sole lone mountain out here in the middle of nowhere, at the base of the mountain, you came upon some people selling their wares. And, excuse me, Otto, you struck up a conversation with a roadside vendor, and, kicked him a couple gold for the latest intel.
Welcome.
What's up, dank dungeon delvers?
Hello, our friends.
Thank Dungeon Dells.
Good to see you guys.
You learned that a
Still
bunch of
rising
troops
on
had
that
been recently moved into Asley, and you also learned that some people teleported into the city unusually, and were quickly approached by guards, but then showed some kind of piece of paper, and then were led to the palace of Asley. You all decided to push on ahead. You went up the winding path that led to the top of this mountain, which you realized at the top was actually an ancient volcano. And built into the caldera of this volcano was this extremely impressive city. Seemed to be built on some kind of structure that went down hundreds of feet into water below in this caldera. And for over 400 feet stood this massive statue of this elven soldier looking out over the lands to the south. And that's where we find you today, as people in carts begin pushing past you, crossing over the bridge. You see this looks like the only access point, as the city is built away from the edges of this caldera. Looks like 80 or 100 feet in places away, and this looks like the only way to get in and out of the city is first through this bridge, and then at the last bit before you hit the city, a really intense drawbridge. So, with that, what would you all like to do?
I'm going to say to my party members, if there's one thing that I hate more than foul necromancy, it's teleporters. The sheer gall to just appear in the middle of a beautiful city like this. The nerve that they have.
The horrible beasts and terrible people that we fought. That is the one thing that you hate. Okay, teleporters. Okay.
Teleporters.
Wow.
I think it is just such a terrible trickery that I could take no part in.
Oh, yes.
I simply can't stand for it.
Are you foreshadowing anything, Otto? Is this something we got to be aware of with you?
I'm sorry?
I said, is this some kind of foreshadowing speech, or are you literally saying you don't like teleporters?
I'm saying I literally don't like teleporters.
He literally doesn't.
I literally, I don't, you know, hey, I'm being serious. There is a terrible threat, more than likely, that has spawned within this city. We'll have to be very careful.
Well, I have to agree. It worries me that my city has been breached by someone who we don't know who is, and we know who's out there. we know who we're chasing, and I don't feel good knowing that.
You know what I think? This means, even more importantly than it was before, we must meet with the leadership of this city. Let us hope that these foul forces haven't corrupted them before we've gotten a chance to speak reason to them. Don't
Yes.
you all
You,
think we
Otto.
should do this right away?
I agree with you, Otto.
Yes, and I just
I
want to
think we
be
should.
Right away.
careful.
Thanks.
Let's be careful what we say. Keep everything tight to the vest and just not release information. We don't know who we're talking to.
And for all we
Even your
know-
father,
thing I can-
Dagmara,
Exactly.
Well,
until we
speaking
can
of,
vet him.
Yeah.
I understand. But I think, and allow me to say this to you, once we pass through, I think we should go to my father's first, and then he'll lead us to the leaders of the city and on and on. I believe that there's still some good left in Asley, and he will greet us as we're supposed to be greeted.
All right.
Shall we?
Well, I can
You're right.
hardly.
Okay.
I can hardly resist
Let me
that.
ask you, everybody, would you like protection and privacy? If we don't know exactly what's afoot here, would you like us to travel unseen?
Well, what time of day is it, Judd?
Dagmara?
It's about 5:30. You still have light, but it's sort of nearing the end of day. You know, you probably have about another hour of sunlight before it's dark.
I hate to say this, but am I the only one that's hearing Azari a little softly?
No, I can't hear that well either.
Yeah,
Just a little, just a little.
same.
If there's anything on your end.
Is this better?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is me and this little thing are going to be best
'cause we had
friends
it- we-
tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
we did have a new
BFFs.
mic, but yeah, that's all right.
I love this thing. I'm going to kiss it.
So Tabitha like flicks her hair towards Ariset, and she's like, "Well, I for one would really like to be seen." And you can see that Tabitha's kind of like slowly putting on her fancier outfit that she has, because she's going to the city.
Nice.
What fancy? I'm sorry. What
is this
fancy
like the thing
outfit?
at the beach where somebody puts a towel around you
No,
and
from
you're
Vorden.
like
Where
Yeah,
did you
they-
buy this?
You don't remember my outfit from Vorden? Yes, exactly what I'm
no.
doing.
painting right in the street, Tabby?
I'm doing just like a lower body change. I'm just like changing my boots. I'm like maybe putting on a belt. I'm like
costume
adding my
style.
cape.
And as this is happening,
yeah.
you hear from behind
Done
you,
that.
"Oi! Are you going or not?" And you look behind, and you're kind of like holding up some carts and other horses as you guys are kind of, your horses are spread out a little bit, having this conversation, kind of blocking the lane here.
On the bridge.
Yeah, on the bridge heading into the city.
We look like the Beverly Hillbillies coming in here. We're changing
Okay,
clothes.
speak for
midday.
yourselves. I look
And
elegant.
I just raise my hand. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. All right, shall we? I think Ariset,
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, Tabby,
But,
don't you look lovely?
But
Thank
yes,
you.
I have to agree. I have to say,
you.
Tabby, I think the people of Asley deserve to see a halfling of this grandeur and beauty. So
Good show.
I think my city is quite ready.
Good night.
You know,
I like to do a twirl.
Okay.
All right. Ready to
like-
go.
I just gotta take a deep breath and I just say, all right,
Dagmar, why don't
everyone,
you lead the way?
I didn't offer. at
welcome
least.
to Asley. And I just
Yeah,
press
and
the
as-
reins and here
As
we
you
go.
all move forward, and at this part, at the top of the road, you know, it goes into this bridge that is built into the caldera, and you travel over this for a good, 80 feet or so, and then the last 40 feet you see is this huge drawbridge, and ahead of you is this gate. This is a fortress in its own right, stretching at least 80 feet up in the air, and you see guards up on top. You see these really large ballistas pointing down and kind of swiveling around, and this fortification is extremely impressive and intimidating. And even the chain that you see that's holding up the drawbridge, which is now of course lowered, is this unusual silver. Dagmar, of course, you've seen it many times, you don't even notice it, but the rest of you look at it and it's got an unusual kind of look to it. It's almost like, if you've seen mithril, it's similar, but it's not mithril. Each chain link is like a good, 2 feet. So these chains are massive. you all push forward, now starting to get kind of bunched up with the other people who are going through the gate, and you see a bunch of the Crown's Guard ahead of you. These guards are all in the uniforms that you've seen at this point, but they're extremely like highly polished armor, very proper. There are a ton of guards at this gate, on the ground, up above.
Are they hotties?
They're yeah. I mean, a lot of them have helmets, and you can't quite see. But you, Tabitha, you are actually,
I can tell.
You're looking at one.
I'm getting the sense.
You look over and you see this one, and he's a human. He doesn't have his helmet on. He's a lot shorter than the rest of the guards that he's standing with, and you see like the other guards are grabbing people and pulling him over and questioning him, and you kind of lock eyes with him for a moment, and he's very attractive, like very fit looking, and he's like, you lot, you five together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
over here. Yeah. And you
Go
make your
on
way over
over.
to the side. He kind of pulls you, grabs the reins of the first couple. Right, where are you coming from?
Hello, sir.
The
We are coming from the south. My father
southwest.
is Dr. Zeki. I would like to say that he would vouch for us, and we would like to get safe passage to the city and make our way to him.
So you're here for family. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's it, just family business, all of you?
That's it.
Family business and visiting and
Family and friends, they sort of go to bed together like, I don't know, apples and...
Oranges.
Yeah.
Oranges.
Yeah, you know, oranges, yeah. And he kind of moves past
bread.
those in the front, and he comes up to you, Tabitha, and you're with this lot as well?
Yes, I am. He does like I do like the awkwardest move kind of thing to try to, I don't know. She's never been so nervous. This guy's making her nervous.
Are you, where are you staying? Are you here for entertainment, or are you staying at the palace? I'm kind of, I'm a little confused.
they'll be staying with my father. Yes, they'll be staying at our home.
Okay. Oh, okay. In one of the residential. Okay. Okay.
Yes, indeed. My father's residence. Yes.
Right. Well. As residents, don't let me keep you. And he moves away, and he kind of, gestures to ride on.
Bye.
And right before we go, I just stop him and I say, "Thank you for welcoming us. I have just one question.
Yes.
How long have you been stationed?"
In Asley?
Yes.
About seven years, I think, at this point.
Wonderful. I thought I recognized you. How is the city lately? Is the merrymaking as it was before, as I remember it?
Always. Yes. No, we are. It's and Tabitha's eyes flash back to you for a moment. It's always a fun time here.
So I suppose there will be quite a few balls while we're around, and I kind of look back at Tabby and I wink.
That is a bit above my station, but I've heard of them. Yes, always at the palace and accompanying estates.
Well, I'd love for you to join us.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh.
And I just kind of
You'll serve
look
it.
back at Tabby again. All right. And I take in the air of Asley and carry on.
All right, and you all.
Nice.
Time to go see Papa.
They're doing a good job with security, it seems. They're very nice to see.
Yes, it's always been quite well guarded. It's always been very, very well secured. I'm just
And-
hoping that there's no danger from the inside now.
I lean over towards Otto and I'm like, did I play it cool? I felt like I played it really cool.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're through. We're
And he
through.
thinks to himself,
Oh,
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
sadly, Otto is a liar. He just is.
But Tabitha, if you look back, you do see that.
Otto lied, and it showed on his face.
Yeah,
Like the first
the guard is kind of
He
half
was
turned,
at
but he's
it.
still kind of watching you ride off for a moment before somebody else yells at him. Yeah, and he trots off.
All right, well, I trust you know
All right,
the way,
guys.
Dagmara.
what do we
Yes.
expect when we, as you take us around the city? Point things out to us. Let us know some locations, just so we can get
Oh, yes.
out the place. Get
I
some
think it will be
transparency there.
beautiful. Oh, yay.
The Raven.
Hello.
And
Thank you for your subscription.
And yeah, Dagmara, I'll jump in and say a little bit of this, and then you can take over. But as you all pass, and it goes on like this kind of entrance guardhouse is quite large. It's as big as some castles that you have seen. And you pass the first portcullis, and then you pass the second portcullis, and then you're finally in the city. And Dagmara just instinctually just starts going to the left and following a road. You see there, the road kind of splits in 3 different directions here. You can go straight, you can go to the right, or you can go left. And as you start to make your way to the left, you get this glimpse of the main channel of the city behind the gate and leading to that massive statue, which is towering over the city. You see little specks of birds kind of nesting in the top and circling up there. But you see this magnificent palace at the base of the statue. And again, where the statue actually, where the feet are, is about 100 feet over the city, and there are waterfalls coming out from this base. You can see 6 of them, and these seem to feed rivers that actually, as you were approaching the gate, forgot to say this, there were 2 falls, one on each side of the gate, as these rivers just terminate and just in the mist kind of, wafting over you as you were on the bridge. And but as you're looking down this central chamber, you see that there is another kind of smaller waterway that leads up to this beautiful palace at the end. And there's a large sculpture of a dragon, and it's got water coming out of its mouth. It seems to be filling this little kind of waterway in the middle. And all of these sculptures along with, looks like some kind of grass and this beautiful stonework. But you only see a glimpse of it before Dagmara turns to the left and starts leading you over this road and over a bridge. And as you're all looking around, your eyes keep flicking back to that statue. Wherever you are in the city, you can always see this statue. It's massive. But when you finally pull away from that, you look at the buildings, and everything here is just beautifully constructed of mostly a light gray stone. And you can see the stonework is impeccable, and just you see buildings of all shapes and sizes. You go through areas where there are a lot of kind of like townhome looking things. All the stairs and all the entrances to the buildings from the street go up about 3-4 feet everywhere. And you're shocked at kind of how clean the city is, despite the fact that you see a lot of horses. You'll even go past some pens, and you see some other kind of livestock, and you see some stables that are near the gatehouse. But you look down at the road, and everything the stone is very clean. It's kind of strange. But it's
and a little bit like a tour guide. As I'm walking around, if I may, as we're walking, I look at everything and I take it in, just remembering the city that I grew up in, and I say, you might notice how well and how refined the chiseling and the modeling of the city is.
Are you doing one of those like annoying like tour guide like backwards?
Yes, with a
walks
flag.
where you're
Yes, and
facing
over
up?
here you'll see, facing to your right, there's this
Classic
big
backwards
gigantic
we're
statue.
walking.
And
Here,
one of us
are you-
takes a piece of paper and throws it on the ground, and like within seconds, a person comes, like in Disneyland, and
Like a
swoops it up.
huge, and you get fined. Exactly.
Yeah, you get caned right in the back of the legs.
Now, the beauty of the city is that there were elves and dwarves that lived here together, and they respected each other so much. I know this is unheard of, but they loved living together, and they loved what they created together in the middle of this caldera, that the dwarves respected the elves so much that they built this city in an elven fashion, an elven architecture, but it is entirely built by the dwarves.
You
And
mean that the dwarves
Yes.
parted with their traditional ways of construction?
can you imagine? Yes, they did. This is what friendship can do, I suppose. This is what love can do. And I'm still to this day as I run my fingers across just a very intricately carved out like a flower on the frame of this door. I just can't believe that dwarven fingers just carved all this so intricately, following their elven brethren, and respected them so much.
Little
So, Otto-
stubby fingers did that.
You'll find that dwarves here are a little different than dwarves back in Faerun. So,
How so?
well, for one, they don't wear the beards.
Oh yes, we did notice that.
Beautiful,
Well, they wear facial hair, but
mustaches, and they are dressed. They're very elegant. It's a bit different than in Faerun. So you might appreciate
yes.
that
Yes.
juxtaposition. So
There's been quite the symbiosis.
can I see a
Is that the reason that their facial hair is so atypical? It's the culturization of
The absence of facial
cross-culturization.
hair altogether, yes.
Oh,
Do we see a
okay.
tower? You said that those black cloaked figures came in through a tower. Is there a mage tower about?
You actually don't see a mage tower. You see that there are, from where you were going, off to your left, you can see there's a guard tower.
All right.
And you can,
Guard tower.
and you maybe see a hint of one ahead in the kind of a bit of a distance. They do
Okay.
go up pretty high, but I mean, it doesn't. It's definitely not a mage tower.
So nothing that when that vendor had said that those figures had come in via tower, nothing like that is standing out so supremely, right?
No, I mean, you've seen a lot of grand things here, the palace, and a lot of buildings, but you haven't seen any mages towers here.
All right.
Let's go talk to Dada. Maybe he knows.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Dada. Well, and Dagmara's, I'm kind of as we're walking, I'm you know, kind of holding my breath, kind of expecting the meeting that's to come, and not quite sure if I'm quite ready. So I'm trying to distract myself a little bit with everything around that I see. And as I look at the statue that we continue to see all throughout because it's so gigantic, I look at it and almost excitedly, because I know we're approaching, I just direct my attention. I'm like, oh, and did you happen to see the statue that arises from the center of the town, the city?
Yes, I just happened to
Visible.
catch that.
Yeah, you cannot miss it. It's just gigantic.
Well, guess
Oh,
what?
that one. Yes.
Yes, I saw that. I may have to point it out to you. Now, that used to be a part of that giant hilt that you saw that is been driven into the bottom of the caldera. But once the dwarves carved the city, above the city, that the hilt of that gigantic sword, whoever it is that thrust it into the caldera, left it there, and they carved out the statue out of the hilt of the sword. And it has always been the symbol of fortitude and strength for Asley.
Oh,
Very nice.
that is
And I take out a gold piece and I just say, "You're a wonderful guide," and I just flip it to Dagmar. I'm sorry I can't give you the
bite it.
gems. Yeah, you'll
Is
have
there
to
going to
earn
be a
those
chance
gems
for
back.
snacks and restroom breaks
Like I
sometime
said.
soon?
Biting a
Come on,
coin in
Avengers.
times of Corona. I don't know.
Wow.
There's a bush over there, Otto.
No, there's
Never. Money's
there's no
always
corona
so
here.
dirty.
This is
It's really bad.
escapism. Yeah, you can buy coins
This is
here, but don't do that
I
in
need
real.
this. I need this right now.
Dagmara, I'm so
exactly.
happy to see your homeland, and I see your glow and joy of homecoming. But I fear for your. I fear that if we could just get to your parents as quickly as possible, maybe it's best to find out what's going on, just in case there's anything different since
And
we're here.
you don't have to worry about me. I do excellent with fathers, provided they're not my own.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be really
right.
interesting.
Yeah, just-
I'm going
I
to
mean,
take off my
let's
hat,
just make
Judd,
sure
and
all
I'm
is
putting it in my
well.
pack.
Okay.
Yes.
Well-
What I mean is, let's make sure all is well, and then, assuming it is, let's have a great tour.
Party!
Just in case, you know.
Well,
Well,
he's
that's a good-
just a few blocks up this way then.
Oh, great.
And I start kind of walking. Like,
And
I
as-
pick up the
fast as I
pace
can.
also.
And as she leads on, you guys are passing through this area right here. You see there are a lot of buildings that seem dedicated to the military here. You see a lot of soldiers. You see a lot of weapons of war. You see war horses being worked on in the military stables. And you can see that there really is a strong, intimidating presence here. But Within a few minutes, you pass by it and you cross over one of the many bridges in Asley, and you see one of these rivers that is flowing from that center point of one of the waterfalls, and you see this water rushing by and terminating off the side. As you cross over, you come to a kind of quieter area, and you see some guards milling about here, and they see you, and one comes over. Yes, can I help you?
No, we're just on our way, thank you.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. And he stops. This is a private residential area.
That won't be a problem. I am Dr. Zaki's daughter, and we're here to visit him.
Dr. Zaki. No, Paterna. Yes, sorry, please. And they step aside, and you all push past. And again, it's quieter here. There aren't as many people. You see a few kind of going into these houses. Whereas you saw the house is very packed together so far in the buildings to this point. You come in here, you can see they have a little bit of space around them. They're a bit grander. And
The ritzier part of town.
One
for
quick
sure.
interjection.
Yeah.
The guards that motion us along, I hang back a pace, and I say to one of them, I kind of smirk and look over toward the area where we came, where all of the war construction preparation was going on, and I say, goodness, I'm half tempted to think that we'll be under siege by nightfall. What's all the fuss about?
And you see he's kind of like his fake smile lingers for a moment, and then it's Asley, it's a protected city. It always has been. I'm sure it's just training or something.
Nothing out of the ordinary then.
Nothing to worry about. Nothing we've been told about anyway. I'm sure it's fine.
You reassure me, good sir. Take care.
And he just kind of watches you go.
And I go.
And Dagmara, you lead them on this path that you've done a million times. You know the way, and you're kind of dodging through these streets, and you come to a street, and the houses here are larger and very grand and really impressive. You see all kind of manicured plants out in front. When you see glimpses through the windows, you see fine furnishings, and a few people coming in and out of their homes look very finely dressed. Seems to be a lot of wealth here. And Dagmara stops near a house, and it looks like it's about 3 stories. It's smaller than a lot of the houses on the street, but there's something kind of extra charming about this house, and it's even a little more stately than a lot of the larger, the nouveau riche houses that you've passed so far.
Nouveau riche, you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use that term. Why not?
Nouveau riche.
Nouveau riche in Asley.
Love whenever anybody can use nouveau riche. Like, I'm a big fan of whenever you can squeeze that in there. Like,
Yeah, right?
Never read.
It felt like the right moment, so. All right.
Tabitha's eyes are like little hearts because of all the nouveau riche, honey.
Yeah. How much nouveau riche can a woman take?
There's a lot of nouveau riche.
yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay,
I just,
Is this it? Is this where we're headed?
yes. Yeah, this is it.
Are you feeling happy and nervous?
I'm happy I'm with my friends, and I look forward to this.
And damn it, Otto feels those old feelings creep up on him.
Creeping in.
He's like, oh, well, this will be very nice, I suspect.
All right, then. Let's see. I just kind of rub my sweaty palms, and I dismount my horse. And I just climb the steps up to the door. Haven't been here
I don't know
in 5
about you
years.
guys, but I'm hoping he's okay.
Me too.
I have that like awful feeling that
Just me?
I'm dreading this.
I'm
I
rooting
don't know
for
what
okay
to
in
expect.
there.
And I'm stepping up the steps, just remembering every single stone, every little flower. And I grab the giant ring on the door and just like,
Now run away, run away.
And
Trust me, I want to.
you don't hear anything for a moment, and then you hear some kind of sound inside, and oh, just a moment, be right there. And you hear and these footsteps approaching, and the door swings open, and you see your eyes light up as you see a dwarven woman standing before you, short and squat, but beautifully attired. She's got impressive sideburns that go down braided into these really tight braids and these beautiful silver with emerald caps on the bottom. And she's just, oh my god, you're back. Oh, Dagmara, and just grabs you.
And I just hug her so tightly. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, and she pulls away. And you're real. Oh, come. Who?
You're real. You still have those braids, some silly braids going.
Oh, silly. Damn you, girl. These are pride of Asley.
I'm sorry. Yes. It's the pride of your kin. Yes.
Yeah. So I thought.
I've missed you.
I've missed you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Hi. You have a lot of explaining to do. Come inside. Come.
Oh, wait. Dingreta, these are my friends.
Oh, friends.
This is, Harry Set.
Otmar, the third.
Oh, fancy boy.
Yes, to make him. And right here we have Tabitha Notgrass, this beautiful lady here. I think that
Best of my name.
Same here, lass. Same here.
Okay. So
and
nice
of course the
Great to meet you.
gorgeous Erisette. Erisette
Very
is a
nice
moon
to meet
elf,
you.
and
I'm honored. I'm truly honored.
I'm honored as well.
and of course the daring and brave Seville, who always runs into danger and have saved our lives many times.
Well, any friends of
pleasure to meet-
Dagmara, and a pleasure to meet you. Why don't you come on in? We'll get you some ale, and
Everyone,
And,
this is Gingreta Wonderland. Gingreta raised
Oh,
me
and-
as
I hope you don't
Congrats.
mind that Snack come in.
You don't mind a swamp cat.
And then, yeah, so-
hanging out in your house. do you?
oh dear. Is it safe?
It would be no trouble to
It doesn't
keep
bite.
the
It doesn't
animal
bite.
outdoors, surely.
Oh, yeah, great.
no.
I'd love to study it. Yeah, come on in. I might or might not have someone here that would be interested to see you. Come on in. And she grabs your arm and just pulls you with incredible strength into the house
Ah, you are too kind. Thank you.
and ushers you all
Much
in.
obliged. Much obliged.
So, Kingreta, is it? Kingreta?
Gingreta.
Gingreta. So, what's your relation to our Dagmara here?
Oh, I work with her father, but maybe Dagmara. Maybe you should say.
Yes, well, Gingreta has been with us for quite a few years, and she has been like a best friend to me. And she helps my father with all his ordeals, and she is his apprentice, his helper. She studies with him, and I mean, how many times have I snuck into the lab while you guys have been
Oh,
studying
goodness
and
Far too many,
autopsy
lass.
and
Yeah.
all sorts of explorations.
too-
Yes.
She just reaches out and
Seen a lot.
touches you. Just, I can't believe you're here.
Greta's, she's like a mother to me.
Ah, so after a few mugs, we'll get some real stories about
Oh,
Dagmara, yeah?
no, I've got those stories for
no,
you.
no.
All right, tell them all.
You
We'll get the real
booze
story.
away from that one. Keep the booze away from
I'll be
Seville
checking it
because
for you,
he will.
Gingreta.
And
Hold, no truth but
Seville
that. We want it all. We want it all. Thanks for having us in your home. We
of course,
appreciate it.
and as you're all having this moment, you hear, Gin, who's at the door? Well, why don't you get off your dwindling backside and come out here and see? And you hear, you just hear this kind of shuffling, and Dagmar, your eyes immediately go to the right of the door that you've come in. And you see there's a door, the door to the study that you know so well is open, and you see some flickering light from the fireplace, the always lit fireplace inside, and you hear a bit of a stretch and moving some things around, and a moment later, Now who we've got to... And you all see this man come through the door, human, tall, thin without looking frail, definitely kind of an academic vibe, and he's just stunned.
I sort of like
Hello,
instinctively like stand like very like regally since a new person's like entered the room.
Dags? Is that...
It's me.
Is it really you?
Yes. And I slowly walk up to him.
And at the last step, he just grabs you and pulls you. Oh my God, Dagmar. Where have you been? I thought you were dead. I've looked everywhere. I've gone to the temple.
I know. I know. It's me. It's me, and I'm back.
You're okay.
I'm so sorry, Father. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I missed you.
Missed you much.
How are you? You look so good.
Oh,
You have not changed your glasses yet, have you?
no. And he kind of pulls himself to and notices there are other people standing in this room and is... oh my God. Dagmar, I'm so happy to see you. You must forgive me. I've almost forgotten how to speak.
I go and I like offer him like a well pressed handkerchief from my
Thank you.
coat.
Thank you.
I lean forward and I say, and you must forgive me. It seems my cat is made. No, she's not being very ladylike, and she's like sniffing around in his parts.
No.
Sorry.
That's,
Sorry.
At least she's not.
Well, Father,
I'm glad to know
sorry,
it's with you. So,
He's got a couple of different emotions
yeah,
going
there's
on right
some
now.
fear. Luckily, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
they're safe. They're safe. Father,
Okay. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I am.
Thank the gods.
I am.
Jesus
And
Christ.
thanks to my friends, I made this. I made it here alive. And oh well. And I want to introduce you to my very good friends that I've only known for a week, but I can say I've known them for a lifetime now. I've made it safely here with them, with their help, and we're here on the mission to help, and actually to help Asley and to help you. Well, these are Erised, Otto, Otmar, Tabitha, and Seville.
Well,
Pleasure, sir.
welcome. Sorry, Zaki. My name is Zaki, and I am overwhelmed. Please come in. Let's
Thank you very
let's
much.
ale for everyone, or something else. Wine.
Wine for me, please.
Wine.
Yes, let's just have some wine. Yes.
Wine.
I'm sorry, and I grab my father by the shoulders and I just say, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I really seem to have forgotten how to even speak to you. You really forgive me for not even knowing how to do this. I promise I will make it up to you. I really do. But I love you, and I'm so sorry.
Dagmar, you're here. You're back. I never. I stopped wishing years ago. God, my love. I just pulls you another tight hug. Please, I'm sorry. Just please go through the next room. We'll be right with you.
Of course.
Yes.
Sort of like usher my companions.
Oh, and I pull Tabby with me and I say, let's go check out the digs, shall we?
Let's check out the house, see if there's anything good in here.
Yes.
No.
You know, you're more likely to be gifted things that you like here. You don't need to take them.
The thing is, just takes away all the fun.
Yes. But
And
you would
Dagmar,
like to come back here one day, wouldn't you?
he grabs your hand and
I
pulls you into the
suppose.
study as they all walk off and have this moment, and quietly shuts the door.
Oh gosh, I cannot imagine. She killed her own mother, and he's forgiving her and missing her all this time. I'm just, oh,
that was by accident, though.
I know, but I'm just imagining what he's going through.
Just got
Imagine.
here. Must you mention all that? I mean, even I know not to mention this right in the middle of the time.
Yeah, let's not.
Here, I've got some wine for you all.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Right.
And you
That's all
know,
our set needs is more wine.
yeah, I see that. Well, elves, elves and their wine. So here, I got the best bottles. So, I mean, this is a happy occasion. Here, she starts
Yes,
passing out the
it
bottles.
is. Yes, it is.
I'll go, a couple glasses, I'll get more, I'll be right back. And she shuffles off
Okay.
again. And then we'll go back to Dagmara. And Yuzi, his hand is on the door. He's keeping, it's not going to be a long conversation. There's so much.
I know, Father.
I thought you were dead.
I know.
Cried myself to sleep so many nights. We have so much to talk about, but I owe you so many apologies, Dagmara. I did not know. I have had time to reflect, and
You don't owe me anything.
I do.
You
I
don't
do.
owe me anything. No, you don't.
I
no.
did. I pushed you away. I pushed you in that temple. I didn't know. I just want you to know how much I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm so glad to have you back. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm so happy to see you.
There's nothing to be sorry about, Father. I'm the one who has to be sorry. I'm the one who ran away. I'm the one who didn't tell you.
No.
I just deserted you. No, I deserted you. I left. I
put
left.
you
I
in
left
that
us and our
position
people.
because I didn't help you. I didn't know how. I know how. I know how now, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. I want to enjoy this moment. You are a gift. Let's go. Let me meet these friends of yours. They look a rowdy bunch.
And I just take my father's face in my hands, and I just say, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy you were right, Father. There isn't enough I can say about everything that has happened, everything I've done, everything that has come into our family. And I know it's been hard. I know. And I show him the scales on my arm.
And he immediately takes it. Yeah. They've grown. It's okay. It's okay. And he puts your arm against his chest.
It scares me every single day. It scares me to death. But I decided that I shouldn't run away from it anymore. And I decided I should come back to you and stop running from what it is that I am and what it is that I need to find. I've lost far too many people. I've lost Mother. I've lost 2 others. And I think it's because I've been afraid. And I want to tell you that I'm ready to... No, I'm ready to take responsibility for what I did. I am ready.
It's not... Dag, no.
Father, I did it.
No, the fault, Dagmara, lies on my shoulders. I didn't handle it. I didn't know how to handle it. I pushed you away. I thought sending you to the temple would help. Everything, even your mother, it all rests on my shoulder. But it's a long conversation. And I should have taken that guilt away from you a long time ago. I'm sorry.
You did what you thought would be best.
I acted as a coward.
Today.
I've had 5 years every day to reflect on how I acted as a coward.
You did not.
I did, and I will explain more. But for now, I'm just going to take this moment, this one little moment here, and my God, I've forgotten in 5 years, and you've grown. You're so much like your mother.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right. I
Yes.
wanted to meet my friends,
Yes.
and I
Yes,
cannot wait to speak to you more.
I want to hear.
We have pressing, Father. Before all this, I just want to tell you, we have pressing business here. First and foremost, I wanted to see you, of course, but I don't know how much you know about this, and I don't know how many ears there are that are listening. I don't know if how many ears I can trust here, but the necromancers have been advancing into Anacroli, and my friends here have opened my eyes to the dangers that are upon us. We are here to find out if there's any way that we could stop them. And I, for one, I want to reconnect to the clerics at the Temple of Light. And we're here to seek any sort of alliance, Father. This is also why we're here.
Okay, well, this is a lot. I've heard of any necromancers, but come, let's join. What? Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm surprised, but I'll just let us tell you of what we've experienced in the past.
I think
few
you'd
weeks.
better, yeah. Yes, please. Yes, come through, come. And he opens the door again, wraps his arm around you, and he just pulls you tight, just holding you.
I do the same.
So tight as you walk. You can almost not walk as he's practically lifting you with every step and wiping his tears away as he joins you. I see you've been plied wine. Well done. I think I need a cup or a bottle or a couple bottles.
Greta, can we have two?
Wow. Okay. So I don't remember any of your names because this has been a lot. This has been a day. And
Not to worry.
And Dags just told me about some necromancers as well. So
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least all that's out in the open now.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I decided to shoot straight to the point, as I've learned from my friends. So, yes.
Yes.
Yes, there was one thing that begs asking about. You see, we've learned that there seems to be some new visitors that have appeared here in the city recently. I imagine you've taken note of this.
New visit. Well, I mean, there are always. I mean, it's Asley. I mean, there's a bit of ebb and flow with this city. There's been a lot of guard increase lately. I've noticed that. What visitors are you talking about, though?
Well, what guards are you talking about? Are they Crown's Guard, or where are you getting reinforced from? Where are they coming up from? South, north?
No, definitely north. Crown's Guard, yes. I don't.
All right.
From what I've talked to a few, they seem to have been from several different. A few from Navir, some from Carthen.
Carthen, you say?
Some from outposts. Some from Vorden. Yeah.
Is this an exercise, or do you have any intel or information of who we might be able to speak to get some information about this?
Oh, I certainly know maybe a couple of people for you to speak to. Indeed, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't track the comings and goings of the military, other than what has been plainly obvious, that they have been definitely reinforcing the city. I saw that. I asked around, wondering if we were about to go to war. That sort of thing hasn't been spoken about in Anacroli, and well, these parts anyway, since the departing, as our greatest enemies didn't make the trip.
Yes,
Sure.
Zeki, was that your name?
Zaki, yes.
Zeki, okay.
Yes.
I needed to ask an important question. Sorry to interrupt,
No.
but when we were in Vorden as a group, we went to a really elegant party. And so if you know any parties that are happening like tonight or maybe tomorrow night, that would be great.
Yes.
Gin can definitely tell you.
Oh, great. We've been traveling a long way, and I'd like to, blow off a bit of steam.
So I
turned to Gin and I said, Gin, do you happen to have the chest where I keep all my dresses from my teenage years?
Well, you
any
know
chance?
it. Of course.
And I just
your room is as you left it.
I scurry after her to try to get to these dresses.
In the meantime, I talk to the father and I say, what can you tell us about the king or the ruler who sits over Rasley here.
Oh, well, the king. There's only one king, King Dorian, of course, in Carthen.
Yes, the words escape me. The Duke, the Reeve.
There's the regent here.
The Regent, yes, of course.
Yes. He's, I mean, the regent is very rarely about. He spends a lot of time behind doors that I'm not privy to, but I am quite close to several of his right-hand people. I can think of a couple that if you really have pressing need and need to have inside contacts, I can arrange such a meeting, I mean, right away.
Yes, that would be great. Yes.
That would be great. And in fact, you have already, by the way, been so generous to us to welcome us into your home and show us such wonderful hospitality. But I would say...
That's my father.
Yes, and it appears the apple has not fallen far from the tree, as they say.
Oh.
It's my second apple phrase tonight. And you know what? I may not be done anytime soon. And I say...
And Dagmara's like, wow, okay.
I say, and of course Otto's like doing the sort of bits that would probably go over a lot better at some like really snotty nosed like noble table, but it's all he knows. And he says, yes, in fact, what would benefit us greatly was not only if you could gain us such an audience, but if you could tell us, or I don't want to speak for everyone, but at least me, I'd be willing to hear everything you can about these right-hand officials going into the meeting. It would be of great value. You see, we're looking to know exactly who we can trust to help us in this great effort, and those who we should, well, lean less on.
Well, this is all a lot. Yes, of course. I through my practice, I've met most of the people of import in the city, and I count several amongst friends of mine. In fact, I imagine if I take you to one of two taverns this evening, we will find the very person I'm thinking be best to introduce you to. But Dagmara, can you just? What is going on? What necromancers? What have you gotten involved in?
I wouldn't say we haven't decided to get involved with it. They've decided to get involved with us. See, the town where I accosted once I left was Lucknow. It's to the southeast, and it was a city at the very bottom of a big mountain range, and it appears that there was some sort of a spell that was seeping from the mountains or over the city, where people would just forget who they were, or where their families were. People would. Thank you. Yes, very much so. And it wasn't until these four came to Lucknow to actually explore, and I think they came through a portal, and it wasn't until they came that I was awoken from this mind fog that I was in. And it, long story short, it turned out that there's a big city in the mountains called Makutha, which was taken over by the necromancers, and they have been using it as a post, as a giant checkpoint, and almost like a headquarters where they were taking their power from and dispatching their powers to the rest of the continent. And together we managed to banish them from the city, but they teleported somewhere else. And they're, from what we know, and Seville knows, he has maps and he's got a lot of scrolls and information about this, but there are 5 major places.
Yeah,
5. Yes.
Let's just be gentle here with information, only to possibly protect your father.
And I just kind of take it back, like, oh.
A little plausible denial, and sir, we don't mean to cut you out of some of this information, but it's really for your own protection. But there's factions at work that we're tracking they are a threat to the kingdom, and we're just trying to skirt around the edges and find information without revealing too much. So I hope you
see,
don't
I
mind
see.
or feel offended that we're trying to be protective here.
As he
not
says,
at
for
all.
your protection.
And I just
not
rub my father's arm. Like, yeah, we're here
Yes,
to
not
protect
to
you.
overburden you with too much revelation for
No,
one night, yes.
I stay very much in my little realm of the medical sciences. So,
Well, just know that we are the ones who are going to stop them. So, anything that you could tell us that would help along the way is of great benefit.
of course, I think it's more who I can connect you with than what I can tell you. I'm afraid, but
Yes, so on that note, it's more of who do you absolutely trust to the best of your knowledge that will not spill the information into their circles. And on that, do you know of a up-and-coming city official, a politician, someone who is gaining renown, a woman, a man, I don't know, but these emanations of rumors have hit the city of Vorden, the city of Coin, and I'm just curious to see, as it was directed back here to Asley, if you know of someone of great import that is rising the ranks of the city officials.
Somebody plugged in, not an academic.
well,
Possibly of great finances.
there are. I don't know how much you've seen of the city to this point, but I could think of perhaps a dozen of the nobles that fits. Do you happen to have a name or?
I don't have a name. I just have someone who would be rising out of almost nowhere or has gained great strides in a short amount of time.
Yes, there is.
Father.
There is someone, but I haven't. I can't recall the name at the moment. But there is a rising star, a woman.
Is Lightbearer Melara still the head of the Lysair Temple?
Yes, yes. I haven't seen her in some time after I accosted her
Hold
for
that.
years.
Hold that thought. Can you tell us more about the woman rapidly rising in power? If not to name any other useful details.
Yes. Again, I think that my friend I'll introduce you to later will know everything, as he's essentially the number 2 person in Asley, and in charge of its protection.
Perfect.
But there is a woman, an elf. I wish I could remember her name. I don't really go in for politics, but I have heard people talk about. It was something about kind of the coming from obscurity. She is of the noblesse, but a distant relation to one of the families installed here that almost they didn't seem to know. So there is that. I mean, that seems to kind of foot the bill as
Exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Right.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Keith.
great.
Thank you.
So, when could we meet this person?
And before we do, I just had a few more questions, if you'd indulge
Yes,
me.
no, I
This
don't mind,
wine is
but
so good after all.
This I see. Well, she poured the best wine, but there's no better occasion than the return of my daughter. Then he pours more wine and he starts opening up another. Yes, I ask me anything. You've brought my daughter to me. I will tell you anything. I will give you anything. This is.
You are truly too kind. Well, how about more information on this inner circle of the Regent? You said you know a few people in it. Give me the sort of overview of the people you know and what they're like.
Well, as I say, in my practice, I'm sure, everyone knows that a lot of healing magic has gone away since the departing, and I was already interested in the medical arts, but it's been quite a boon to my research and my career since that time, and I've been learning how to heal people biologically. Actually, it's quite fascinating. There's all sorts of things that you can do for open wounds and to stop bleeding, and for ailments, and we're sampling different herbs and plants, and
That truly is. Oh gosh, you've got to be careful here because all of you know if I start going on about medical herbs and plants.
And he's like, hold on. And he puts down his wine and he runs out of the room and he comes back.
You mustn't.
Well, now you've got him talking, Otto.
And he's got this big tome. He's coming back with
I
this.
like look away and I'm like,
Oh, and
I
I go to Otto and I nudge him. I'm like, don't you understand? This guy could talk all night long. We need to get to
I'm
this.
like,
Dagmara,
yes.
Dagmara,
I'm like-
wait
and I'm-
till you see
and I'm
how
like-
much I've added to this since you've been gone.
oh my
It's
god.
it's
I'm like
absolutely.
whispering
And he
Dagmara
under my
kind of
breath.
puts down this like huge tome.
I'm like whispering under my breath at Araset, and
You're
I'm
like, oh, shit.
yes, I do understand that. That's why I'm trying to get him back onto the council.
Father.
Yes, no, that truly is fascinating.
yes,
I hate to get us off topic. I was just
And
fascinated.
I just hug my father in the meantime. I'm like, how sweet. What a sweet.
I
man
was
to be
I was
gathering
just
with.
fascinated by all you were saying about the council. Before I get so lost in this tome, please indulge me.
He's almost.
I'll
like,
even try to convince you mechanically if need be.
No. We'll look at this this later. It's fascinating. But what was I saying? Yes.
The council of the region.
Yeah. So my position has afforded me a lot
Yes.
of close work with our almost everyone here in Asley at some time or another. As
Very
those
prestigious.
healers that are left here, or if you don't have access to healing potions, or of course some wounds don't respond to healing potions, as I'm sure you know, and depending on the nature of the curse. And he starts to, and he's like, oh, yes, got it. I can read the visual cues. Not interested in that at the moment. It's absolutely fine. The city.
About that council.
I would like to bracket that conversation for another time because I'm very interested in what you're saying, sir.
Well,
Yes.
we absolutely
It's
anytime.
just, we're the sort of business before pleasure type group, aren't we, everyone? Isn't that true? Isn't that how we...
Well, now that we have these herbs, I don't know if y'all knew, but I used to learn and be able to make potions at the Temple of Lycery. So
Oh, yes. Oh, my
I'll be happy
goodness.
to try my hand at them, my father, if you
know
would
what
allow
that-
me.
That's so funny you mentioned that. You know what that reminds me of?
Let me guess. The
Regent's
yes,
Council.
The
yes.
council at the
Right.
It just, when you
I think
wow.
you
made me think
well,
about...
Otto, right? Because you have your names twice. I think Otto the third or something.
Close enough.
Otmar.
Close
Otmar. Sorry, apologies.
Yes.
No.
He's one of those, Father, yes.
Some
one-
more.
Yes,
so,
I'm
yes,
one of those families that
Here's some more
wouldn't
wine.
dare
I tell you what. I give you the kind of broad picture. Yes, there's other than the king, which of course rules overall. We have the regent. Below the regent are the noble families, and of which my friend is one. I think in total there are I think at the moment 15 of the noble families, but really only 5 of them actually hold any legitimate office here in Asley.
I see.
Again, my friend, which I can't wait for you to meet him. He's a dwarf. He's fun. He can tell you in detail about all this, but essentially, they hold various positions and advise the regent, who then advises the king. And as you know, we are the southern border of the empire, so of the kingdom. And,
What of these 5 families, I'm curious, who's notable among them?
Well, I'd say out of all of them, there are probably 2. There's a Dwarven family, which traces its lineage back to some of the original founders of Asley. Adiok.
They are?
Adiok is the surname, and
Okay.
And I'm noticing how carefully Otto is taking notes in the meantime. I'm just kind of watching him as my father speaks.
Yeah, he's doing it in his mind like this.
Yeah, I'm noticing. Yeah, I'm noticing. He's like very, very focused.
He actually
dash.
he actually kind of cares about this, right?
Right.
yes, and then the other one, an elven mostly elven. They do have some half elves in the family, but the main bloodline is pure elven, and they are the Sariandi family, and I would say tread carefully there. There's
What makes you say that?
There's a heavy-handedness to that family, and definite thirst for power.
Well, I wonder if these families trace their lineage all the way back to the wonderful alliances of elves and dwarves, or have things changed since then?
Well, the Sariandis definitely will make you think so, but it's not true from what I know of the heraldic scholars we have here in town. But of the dwarven family, absolutely. They seem to be legitimately some of the original founders.
Very interesting. And your contact, I'm looking forward to meeting them. Is there anything you can tell us about who we are to meet? I always like to make sure I can create some rapport, maybe know something about their goings on that, shows we care.
Absolutely. And he stands up and he makes his way over to the multiple windows in this room, and just casually drinking his wine for a moment, but you see he's actually kind of looking around the street before coming back and kind of standing over Dagmara, his hand on your shoulder, Dag, and well, my friend is the genuine article. I would trust him. I would trust my family with our lives. He cares about Asley more than almost anyone, and works tirelessly to secure this town and secure the kingdom.
When you say he's in charge of the city's protection, is he the captain of the guard, or?
No, the captain of the guard answers to him. His is more of a political position, but he is in charge of coordinating all the protection for the city, working with the kingdom. I only know this because he drones on and on about requisitions of troops and whatnot, which obviously he seems to have done quite well.
Yes.
I'm a little overdue in seeing him. It's been almost a week. I've been working on something I will tell you about later. It's quite fascinating, I assure you.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You said you haven't seen him in a week. Is that unusual for you, or something to be alarmed about, or no?
No, it's really been more on me. I've been sort of cloistered here.
Well, what better reason than this reunion to see him?
No, as I say,
I mean, it's not too late. Let's see him.
There are
Let's
one of
bring
two
him.
pubs or taverns that he's definitely in. More than likely, unless something has come afoul of the kingdom, we should be able to find him. He is a dwarf after all. And you hear, I heard that, and you see Gin is coming down the stairs, and Tabitha behind her, and Tabitha's arms are full of dresses. And
You will never guess how many new tattoos I've got today. Take a look. This one, and then this one, and then this one.
Oh yes, that one is from the spring ball. I remember that one.
I am tempted to say that given all of that, it's like you're making off like a bandit.
Tabby, it's all right. It's quite all right. You can have all of these. Trust me. It's an honor to give them to such a worthy wearer and a beautiful lady as yourself.
Okay, I just want to make a note now that whenever we go to something fancy, you have to in great detail explain which of these outfits you went with.
And every time it's a new one.
I'm
different.
happy to stipulate to everyone.
I need a Tabitha fashion plate doll and the outfits. And I need to cut them out paper, and I need to change the outfits based on what she tells me.
And,
That's what I need right now.
Otto.
And I just.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just. A thought sparks in my head, and I said, "Oh, 1 second." And I get up and I scurry away to a separate room. And a moment later, I just come out with like a big, like wooden, intricately designed box with hinges, and I just like put it in front of Tabitha. I just wave her over, and I open it, and there's so many jewels and rings and bracelets and necklaces. Take your pick for the next event.
And
just kind of let her
Tabitha,
be.
I'm so excited, and I set it down on the ground. And maybe when I come back from snack, I'll have a prop so you guys can know what I chose.
Love it. Otto, roll a perception
Oh, and
check
Eris
for
said
me.
this is for you as well. You can feel free to pick some.
And are we going to a ball,
Wow.
dear?
I got
I
a
would hope
crit,
so.
and I got a 22.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
So as you're watching this unfold, your eyes keep darting up to Zaki, and you see that his eyes are darting outside, and there's just something about his manner.
Few too many times, yeah.
Yeah, that just makes he looks a
And
little uneasy.
I'm gonna say, would you excuse me?
Of course.
And I very politely go over toward the window and look out to try and see what's out here.
Yeah, and you can use that same role. You're in the moment, you're feeling very perceptive, and you look out there and you see, I mean, the street's mostly empty. You see a couple coming out of the house across the way, older, like maybe 70s, dressed very finely, seem to be heading out for an evening walk. They actually have a pet with them, and it's almost like a miniature dragon hound. Which you've seen dragon hounds here and there, but this one seems to be bred very small, or it's a baby taking it out for a walk.
Jed, let me ask you a question. As Zaki is looking and glancing outside occasionally, what is Snack doing?
I think Snack's over by the fire, kind of just cleaning herself and lounging about a little
So
bit.
her hair, her fur is just normal.
Yeah, it doesn't seem agitated or alert to anything.
Copy that.
And
Yeah.
as you're all having that conversation, Zaki steps over to you, and I was just wondering about my friend. I call him Fildry, but his name is Rigel. But
Why would you call him a name not his own?
oh, it's a stupid nickname, and no, I'm not telling you that story. And we're old friends, and there were many drink that night, and that we're taking that one to the grave. But I call him Fildry. You can trust him, as I said, and I'd trust him with my family's life. I just wonder. I feel like there's more going on he looks back at Dagmara with my daughter's return, and to hear about all of this, and I just have a bit of dread, I guess. But maybe perhaps no better time than go off and find him and get some information.
Yes. Let us go and find Fildry. Oh, sorry. You said we should call him...
Rigel. Rigel Neverbottom.
Rigel. Like Nigel, but
Rigel
overhear him
Neverbottom.
say dread?
never
I overhear him say dread, Judd, with my passive perception.
I'd say yeah. It's not a huge room, and they've only stepped a couple feet away.
Okay, so as I'm looking at this buffet of beautiful jewels, and I look at Daggy and I'm like, it's my weakness. I don't have any from my mother. I'm so sorry. I don't want to take any, but this one's beautiful. Are you sure you're okay with it?
Who else will wear them? I mean, I'm only one person, and I've quite gotten out of the habit of wearing them, so you're my friends, and I would like to give them to you. Not all. I'll keep some, of course. They're memories of my mother, but I would love for someone with soul and life in their eyes and within them to wear them, to give them good memory. So yes.
I only want this one, and only because it will remind me always of you. And I have this beautiful green. It's not emerald. It's not shiny. It's more of a matte green, and it's riddled with almost a copper golden kind of vein all through it, and it's set in a very old-fashioned kind of silver ornate setting, but it's huge. It's like this big.
Oh, yes.
And I wear it, and I say, and I actually bow deeply to her, and I said, thank you.
That was hers.
We love shiny stuff, you guys. What can we say?
Thank you.
If you ever want it back at any point, just say
No.
so. Honestly, I do mean it.
No, it's yours. It's yours. My mother would have been so happy for you to wear it, especially being Elvenkind herself. She would have been honored. And with that, I just look down in the box and I just find a very small little frame with very, very intricate designs around it. It's actually an illustration of my mother, like a very intricate illustration. And I look at it and my hands just start to shake. Excuse me for 1 second. And I just get up and I just kind of upset walk into the other room.
Tabby.
Yeah.
Keep a listen for Dagmara. Give her some time, but be there for her, okay? She might need something.
Okay.
A foot rub,
And-
a glass of wine.
Okay, got it. And Tabitha, I like kind of sneak and I'm, silent as always. I like kind of sneak over to Dagmara. You left the room, right? You're like in a different room.
Yeah, I went in like an adjacent room. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like kind of press my ear to the door and listen. And I remember that she, of course, told us that she like killed her mom. So when she brings this up and then gets upset, like I'm into this to see what's gonna happen here. So I'm just using pure stealth mode here. You gotta tell me if I need to roll anything.
Yeah, roll stealth. Let's see how stealthy you're going to be in case, you get a 1.
This is my first roll of the night, and I haven't warmed up these dice at all. So
I know. We haven't had a lot of rolls
really
tonight,
going.
so not yet. Yeah, not yet. We'll have more.
Ooh. Okay, so it's a 17, and I know we add stuff to it.
Yeah.
I think you add a lot to it.
Plus
And
9.
Did you roll at advantage?
I did not. I did not, but let's try
I mean,
again.
just for shit giggles. Let's see what you
Oh,
get.
it's a 17 again.
Meant to be.
Oh, wow.
Meant to be. So
Yeah.
you just show, you look at the crowd really quickly, and you kind of chose that one moment when everybody looks away, and you just silently like vapor move over and get close to the room where Dagmar just disappeared into. And
And
did you
inside
hear?
that room, well, you just kind of hear a little bit of, just a little bit of like sniveling, just a little bit of like sniffling and crying. And Dagmar is just, and I'm just talking to my mom, and as I just got upset by seeing her photo, and you just hear, so sorry. I don't know what happened. And I don't know why I let it take over, but you did not deserve to die that way. And I want to tell you that whatever it is that's holding me, and that takes such terrible control of who it is I am, I promise you, and I promise in the name of Shatteral Mother, I will take a vow in the temple, and I will vanquish it for you. I
And
promise.
and Tabitha, as she finishes saying "I promise," Tabitha does like it's like knock knock knock. Dagmara, I've brought you some wine.
Yes.
And she like announces herself, but she's really keeping in mind all those details you just revealed. Like, here's some wine. Are you doing okay? Like, but I saw you were a bit upset.
Just the memories just coming back, but this house is way happier with you all in it. Thank you for
Thank
bringing me
you
here.
so much for
letting me
bringing
be
us
with my
here.
father. It's a pleasure. I'm so happy for one that these dresses will fit you perfectly so that we can go and hopefully set you up with that god. I kind of think you two would fit really well together.
And I turned bright red.
Okay, and at the moment you hear,
Cheers.
Gin, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to one of the pubs. We got to go find good old Rigel. So,
By the way, as I had sent Dagmara off and Tabitha off, I've
Yep.
gone very quickly to Zaki, and I've said to him, "What do you mean, Dread? I'm sorry to be so blunt, but we can't really afford to play games at all. Why Dread? That's a strange word."
and he looks a bit accosted. Well, there's a lot. I mean, this whole time I thought my daughter had perished as my wife had, and
And I just listened to this without not in the room, but I can overhear it from the kind of door frame. I still have not entered the room.
We all hear this,
Getting
right? It's a
saucy.
small room.
Yeah, it's
We're just-
I mean,
this
it's
is
not
like
it's
all
not
of it.
tiny, but it's
This is like Big Brother. This is just what's going on here.
and
Where's the trust?
I'm not fucking around, man.
Yeah.
First of all, Otto, we don't want to trust because of what you have going on. So,
but none of you know that.
I don't know that, but I just don't think anybody should be filled with dread when they finally meet their daughter who's been gone for 5 years. And I don't say that to him, but I say, can you try to sense within yourself why you would have any dread?
The word just came to me. I think there's something I was so and I am so happy to see Dagmara, but to hear these tidings, to then think back on all the troop movements into the city, and I think it's time for us to go get some answers, because now you have me worried. So let's all go, everyone. It's not a far walk. As I
And
said,
I grab him. I actually grab him by the wrist,
Oh, jeez.
and I say,
Oh no!
and I say,
Oh, jeez.
I say,
you just met this guy.
I say, be at rest. You're not alone. You do have us, and that's what we're here for.
Oh, it was one of those kind of grabs.
Okay.
roll a persuasion check for me, Erisette.
Thought it was going to be a knife to the throat.
I know, I killed her father.
We're okay. We're okay.
Okay. The persuasion was a 7. I guess I freaked him out more.
Yeah,
than
you
I
see when you
convinced him with
intensely
that.
grab his wrist and he kind of pulls away. And the shock of somebody who's not used to physical violence at all, you see it written on his face. He almost doesn't hear what you say. He's just looking down at your wrist and feeling the kind of immense strength and skill with which you're grabbing him.
Okay, and do I read that?
Yeah,
At
I
least
think,
do
yeah.
And I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I noticed this too. I'm kind of looking at it.
And I'm
A little apprehensive.
so embarrassed, and I just like scuttle
It's
away.
absolutely
'cause I'm
absolutely
like,
fine. Let's
No, I'm
go.
like, I can't even talk. I just like,
To the pub then.
Let's go to the tavern, please,
To the
everyone.
tavern, to the tavern.
King Greta, let's please join us, please. I dare say it's been a
Yes,
while,
Ken, come
a
on.
few minutes since you've had some ale. You probably need some more. And he's trying to make a joke, and she just kind of scowls at him as she gets a coat on, and they all. He opens the door, and you all start to file out. I think we're gonna take a quick break as everybody heads off to this tavern, and we'll see what happens when we come back. We may have an additional person to be here. Don't miss out.
May or may
Definitely come
not.
back and see who's going to be here. 10 minutes. Set your watches. We'll be back in 10. See y'all.
You guys
Okay, hello and welcome back. We're back. Thank you for sticking with us.
Hello.
As we had a wee bit of a break.
You.
As we freshed our drinks and we're ready
Of a break.
for
Ready
a
to
night
go.
out in the town. Okay.
Ooh.
Good to
Oh
have
yeah. I mean, peep
God, what
the
do you sw-
headpiece on Tabby.
Look, this is the kind of thing that Tabby would pick, okay? She's going for ornate. She's going for over the top. She's going for vaguely royal.
Yeah.
Hey, vaguely.
Yeah.
Or overtly.
Just, Tabby, just be
Very on the
careful when
nose
you
royal, yes.
turn and you catch the light because you're going to blind a man.
Like Matahari. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
Choice, Tabby, I
personally,
like it.
I'm personally living for it.
It's a head moment night.
And you know, as Ziki opens the door for everybody and you all start filing outside, he kind of does a double take at you and he's like, oh, I haven't seen her wear that since she was 12. Oh,
Oh yes, I remember I wore it at the royal ball.
I remember.
The
I
one where
remember.
the king and queen came. Yes, it suits you, Tabby. It really
It
looks
really
great.
does.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
quite lovely. All right, well, you know, he shows you all out, and it's just a quick walk. Like I said, he's at one of two taverns. Usually the Grumpy Lad, sometimes the Pickled Bard. We'll see which one it is tonight.
Oh, bar hop.
And he leads you in the opposite direction that you came from. So you're kind of walking deeper through this section, and again, it's a beautiful residential city. You see these beautiful homes. You see people milling about, going to and fro their homes. After a while, you pass over another bridge. You pass more guards who kind of nod as you exit, and you move into which I guess you could describe as it feels like the entertainment district, like you're in the arts district here. You see clearly some theaters, some very large theaters in the distance. You see there are like street performers who are setting up for the night. And it's still early, you know, the light has faded. There are torches and street lights and there are even really large glowing runes that provide this beautiful blue color, the lighting paths along the way. And we're almost there, and you come around the corner and you hear this music, and you know, oh, you've got a tavern, and it's a fun one. You can hear from this distance the bards playing, and people are like singing and clapping, and it's early, and you know it's going to be a good night.
And I look to my father and I say,
Oh,
it's
it's
good
time.
to see that Asley has not changed a single bit.
You know, it really hasn't. It hasn't.
As far as we know now, anyway, I say as I walk into the, as I
kinda-
like bump past.
And I just put my arm around my father and I say, now after a little bit of tears, may I actually treat you to a drink, Father? It's been a bit.
It has been a bit. I would love that. I would love that. Well, let's go in. Let's see if good old Rigel's here. And you push inside, and it's crowded, and it's just immediately like there's a smell of food, but there's also the smell of like fresh flowers. You see, it's like it's a beautiful tavern in here. There are like little
Oh, it's a
bouquets
nice
at the
tavern.
tables, but there are people that are already
spend a little
drunk
gold in here.
and singing in the corner. There's a huge fireplace that's roaring and providing heat and this beautiful light. And you see, Zaki's looking around and kind of like using his height to his advantage. And he's like, first time's the charm, everyone, come on. And he cuts through and leads you over to the bar. And you come up behind a dwarf sitting on a stool. You see him from the back right now. You see beautiful fine clothes, red hair, dark brown skin, and you don't see his face yet, but why don't we go ahead and bring this particular dwarf to the show. Everybody, I'd like to welcome.
A visual aid?
I would like to welcome Cicero Holmes. Buddy, thank you for playing with us tonight.
Welcome, Cicero! Welcome.
Yes.
We've been so excited to have Cicero on the show, y'all. We've been just dying for it. So
Oh, so happy to have you.
So happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, guys.
All right.
That makes
So-
all of us.
Yeah, for sure. So,
It's all
Cicero,
very
why don't
exciting.
you
what are we
tell
seeing? What are we
Yeah, what do we
seeing
see
here?
when you turn around and I come up and do a little hit on the shoulder as the key comes up and kind of bumps you there?
So, so what you see initially is a scowl from this man who turns around. He's got mutton chops, really thick reddish mutton chops that go against his brown skin that curl into a mustache. But he's got a very fine chin, almost an elvish chin. It's not a broad dwarvish chin. And he is scowling until he looks up and he sees his friend Zaki. And he goes, Dr. Neverail.
Neverail. He's about to change that nickname tonight.
We'll see. But Philjoy,
7 ales, please.
here we go.
Oh, Dr. Neverail never drinks ale. He's only full of the wine. That man.
Question: do I know Zaki? I mean, not Zaki. Do I know?
You know,
Your
Rigel.
dad.
Yeah, you did. Yes,
Do my
yes.
dad?
Yeah, you guys have
Roll a
met.
history check. No. Yes, you know your father. Yeah, you know your
DC
father
is
just
one.
like never. Yeah, exactly. Your father like never drinks ale, but
Yeah, but do I know the master dwarf here? Have I seen him before?
sorry. Yeah, I think you have. It's been a while, and you're not as close with them as you are with King Greta, but you definitely know him.
I want to introduce myself with a little bow and a handshake as I approach the dwarf, and I say, Otto Atmar, a pleasure. You must be Rigel. We've heard so much about you.
Well, the pleasure is yours, I'm sure.
And I kind of like look at everyone and I'm like, oh, I like him. Quite a lot.
And I just kind of bump forward and I give like a beautiful bow, trying to like kind of emphasize my new headpiece I chose. And I'm like, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Tabitha.
Tabitha, that is quite a headdress you have.
Thank you. It's new.
Rigel, it's good to see you. I believe I have a few times. Dagmara.
Dagmara?
Yeah,
Yes.
she's back.
Dagmara, but
I know. It's been a night. She just walked in, but minutes before. Despite being gone and running out from me for 5 years, she and her friends wanted to talk to you. So,
well, of course they want to speak to me. I am Rigel Neverbottom.
And I just like put my arm around my father and say, aren't you a bitter old man? Here, have this. And I just give you the ale. Let's see if we can change that nickname of yours. And then I just wink at
Never ale,
Rigel.
never drinks ale.
Shall we bet?
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Do you like
This, well, gods be praised.
It's smooth. It's really good. Can I have a wine?
You don't have to be nice.
I'll have a wine.
So I guess now you're doctor sometimes ale.
Dr.
Rigel.
One time ale.
I start leading everyone in a poppy ballad of Doctor Sometimes Ale.
Dr. Sometimes ale.
that
He drinks
I've just newly written.
sometimes.
It's like
Only
sometimes he drinks wine, sometimes he drinks ale, and that's why we call him
Sometimes
Sometimes drinking it.
Right.
Oh my god.
All right, I think that sounds about right. Time for us to all bugger off and find a bit of a room to have a quiet conversation, or at least a bit on the edge. Come on, everyone.
Okay.
And he's like, I've got how many ales this boy's been drinking so far. Come on, my friend. And he puts his arm around you. Come on, Phildry. Don't make me tell him that story tonight.
no. Well, how much time do they have?
Oh, joking aside, not very much.
Yeah, apparently they're in quite a rush. So, he kind of leads you off to the left-hand side. There's a small, it's not even really a room. It's just that the kind of wall comes together. There's a bit of a circular table there, and you guys have a bit of privacy. Rigel, in all seriousness, there's something afoot, and I told them I trust you with my life, and you would be the right person to talk to in town. I think this is something serious. So if you don't mind me being a bit of a wet blanket,
is this about the Necros?
Oh, it is.
And I imagine
look at
before
everyone.
the question is answered, I'm just like tapping Seville on the shoulder, and I'm like, Seville, can you help me get up? These chairs are far too tall for me.
Oh, of course, Foxy. And I'll give her an elegant lift. Not like
Elegant.
You
a
know,
womanly lift.
sorry. Forgive me there, Rigel. For a moment there, I thought you said Necros.
Yeah, I thought I heard the word necro. So, okay, what do you know? Because we know a good bit.
Shut up, will you?
And I just look around, kind of like
Sorry.
making sure we're like.
now look,
Yes.
you can trust Rigel. He's probably the best person in the kingdom to talk to. So tell him everything. This is all over my head.
Well, I understand, Rigel, that you're the protector of the city, and you must be very well informed of the comings and goings.
Indeed.
I had heard from a little birdie that there have been some significant new visitors within the city.
Well, then maybe you have heard correctly.
Ah.
Why
Since when?
are there some new visitors in this city, if you don't mind me being so bold?
Well, that is the question that I need answered. Because usually, this is a sign of war. And Asley has not been at war for a very long time.
Tell me, I imagine
When-
you must have instructed the captain of the guard, or perhaps even yourself, ordered the city to reinforce itself defense-wise and militaristically. What prompted you to do that?
Well, the stores have been replenished. And that usually means a sign of war.
I see.
But there have been new visitors. Not only the normal comings and goings of people coming to one of the greatest cities in the realm, but also the Necros and some other unsavory characters. We must
Other.
protect ourselves.
Why have they been peacefully accepting the Necros? That I don't understand at all.
Well, this is a question that I have not found the answer to as of yet. Most people seem to be either very intimidated by me or they stay quite far away. I seem to be very friendly, or at least I believed myself to be very friendly. But when you sound like this, people seem to stay away. Even
Yeah.
when you look as great as I do.
Right. You really look great.
I mean, he does, but
yes,
it's a bit
you
annoying
do.
when he points it out. I mean,
And I just turn to Seville real quick and I say, Seville, didn't you talk about a treaty that Asley has signed? Is there
That's what
anything
I'm
that
bringing up.
please? Yes.
So you said that we heard that these necromancers, these cloaked figures, were confronted by some of Asley's guard, but then they showed a piece of paper, a treaty, and were allowed to remain. Do you know anything about this treaty?
Well, the treaty was signed, and it's been since the departing that this treaty has been signed. So most people, most creatures, most beings have free reign to come and go in Asley as they see fit. And it seems that they were allowed to travel amongst the rest of everyone else.
The key sets forward. I mean, it's a free city. I mean, unless you're an invading army, I mean, anybody can come and go. I mean,
And what about before the departing? Was it a protected city then?
Well, of course. My family, my ancestors helped build this city, and we protect this city. We love this city. We love this country. It has become a city, but it is ours, and we share it, the dwarves, with the rest of you.
Well, I would just like you to know that I admire the craftsmanship that I have seen in this city. As you can tell, I am a lover of all things that are fine and well made.
Well, I appreciate your appreciation.
Yes, now.
And he gives her a slight bow, kind of almost like a curtsy.
Oh.
I kind of smirk and I say, another point of interest comes to mind. You mentioned your knowledge of the necromancer presence. I wonder, have you spoken with the regent about this?
Well, I have not spoken to Tyrell as of yet, because it is best to have all of your information before you give some information.
Very true.
You don't get to a position of prominence such as mine without having all of the information and not going in half-cocked, as it were.
Do you trust the regent?
Yes, I do. The elves and dwarves have a long-standing relationship, especially here.
Well, let me give you a scenario. There are some people that you may trust that may have had their minds altered. This seems to be a fashion of the necromancers. And what I meant by a treaty is this faction, this cult of Fornuge, these necromancers, seem to be in league with the kingdom, seem to be in league with the Edgeguard. They seem to have signed a treaty, or at least been allowed or given permission to roam as they please. And so that's more of what we're asking is, have they pronounced their power yet? Have they done something in the city or shown any kind of military or political?
Very few things happen in the city without my knowledge. So the answer to that question is no.
Well, I think I may know where some of them may be.
Really?
Are you familiar with the Edgeguard? I'm guessing yes.
Well, there is not a section of this city that I don't know.
So do you know? Do you know where the Edgeguard's cutter office is, or their compound? It would be an establishment where an edgeguard could re-equip themselves, gain information, and otherwise disappear for a little bit.
You would think an edge guard would know that information.
And I glance
Oh, I know where it is.
Seville.
Oh.
I glance to Seville, and I think it's like a shared glance where we remember when we came upon what happened at the previous one in Warden.
So I DM, I would like to cast a spell, if I may.
Okay.
So it's a 5th level spell called Rary's Telepathic Bond. Where I forge a telepathic link between everyone in the party so that we can continue this conversation in our minds.
Amazing. Okay.
I like that.
Love
I
it.
needed this all my life.
And luckily,
That's what I needed in real life.
I've got to admit, Seville feels one-upped by this.
Well, I was gonna say we're
I do.
also used to this because
So you're right.
so this works for us. We know this. We got this.
You got
we got
this.
Okay, I think there's a moment of like, sort of like realization.
The question that you're
So in our brains now.
Right.
Right.
Can we
question
tell?
that
Or
the tall
is it like
one-
we just think we're still talking and we don't notice?
Like staring at each other.
Yeah, you're talking way too loud. Like,
I think you
do we
can
know?
tell.
And is
You're going, wait, Seville, your voice has changed.
and is the
a bit."
key is the key included with all of this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So everyone that is here, to everyone that is around, we're in a more secluded area.
Yeah.
But what it looks like now is that we're speaking in quiet tones. There, you can't really be heard over the din of the conversation. But what Rigel is doing as he is having the conversation with you guys, he is mouthing unintelligible words
Oh, wow.
as he is speaking to the rest of you.
Oh, that's cool.
So as if there was anyone watching,
It would
seems
sound
like you
like
guys,
normal.
you're just having a normal conversation.
Smart, very smart.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I love this.
The tall one asks very pointed questions, almost as pointed as my chin. These are questions that you should not be asking in public.
Is he talking about you or me, Seville? I don't know which one he's talking about.
Well, the tall one that asked the question, so Seville.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're right.
think-
He didn't see me ask that awkward other question. So
But Erza,
Oh,
you
yeah,
are
yeah,
tall.
yeah.
You are tall and beautiful.
I'm tall and I
You're
do a
tall,
lot of
too.
awkward
Let's
things.
not get
Yeah.
preoccupied.
You're also tall.
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay, and
did
circling
I just
back,
say that out loud also?
All
Kat?
these NBA players over here are just
and I'm like,
only
speak for
5'2".
yourself.
Right.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, so Rigel is 5'2", so he's a dwarf.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
looking up to.
I'm a halfling. I'm
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're living that short life. So
For sure.
Well, Rigel, it's always been it's like playing chess when we talk to people. We don't know who we can trust or what we can offer. So I appreciate this extra added security of talking in the mind. But yes, you can see our apprehension here. We have more information to share,
Yes.
but we
This is
haven't
my
had a lot
home.
of people to trust, if you
Well.
get my word.
And
Yes.
Judd, does Tabitha trust him?
Well, why don't you roll an insight check and let's see if you do.
I really want to. The voice says I should trust him.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I'm gonna do a double check.
Dice might say otherwise.
right, the dice may say something else.
That's true. This is true.
What kind of check am I rolling?
insight.
Insight. Okay, great. I only got a 10.
Well, even with that though, you feel your kind of just natural distrust for the world trying to creep in, and you remember back to Zaki saying that he would trust, his daughter's life with this dwarf, and you kind of just push that aside and feel the earnestness that is coming out of this person, especially that he switched to this nonverbal communication and he seems to be playing it very smartly.
I'm gonna say to him through the telepathic bond, you know, it sounds to me, Rigel, that it is a more than curious thing that the Regent has become so to himself, and this coincides with the time where we have seen people's minds taken over. If you think it would be wise, I would venture to say that all of us, or some of us, or what have you, could gain access to this Regent and discern the true nature of their mind and of their loyalty. What do you think of that?
Well, Stuart Tyrell normally does not see people that are not part of the court.
But imagine if we were the bearers of such unique news that only we know, that only we could explain the full threat of what we've seen beyond these walls. Well, certainly, we must speak with him.
Or let me say this another way. Will he entertain an edge guard?
Or that.
Well, the Edge Guard are the sacred protectors of the realm, so
Would he
perhaps
entertain,
yes.
Would he entertain a disgraced foreign noble?
You're a queen from another kingdom.
Or a cowboy that rides an ostrich? We're all
Or an apple with
See
bread.
why we shouldn't have an audience with all the nobles and at this point.
Willard, was that you?
Oh, the snozberries. That sound like snozberries.
or a Charlie in the box.
No Island of Misfit Toys, please.
I think what we're getting at here, Rigel, is given your position and your prestige, do you think you could find a way to secure us such an audience? We would be happy to return the favor in any way we could.
Oh, well, I am in the position of collecting favors.
Well
But
then.
this is a question for the doctor. If you think this is a wise idea, then perhaps this is my reputation, one that I have taken a long time to both protect and to harness.
Almost certainly.
I do not give out my favors lightly.
Well, you know, my friend, I would not have
don't.
brought them to you. Well, if it weren't for my daughter, who, I mean, how many nights have we sat in here and talked about it?
Yes, Dagmara. It is very, very much a blessing to see you, my friend. And
Blessings for me.
breathing as well.
And to that, he raises his glass, and we all clink.
Yeah.
Clink and drink. Yes.
Clink and drink.
Clink and
Yes.
drink.
Rigel, can I ask you, have you noticed any politician rising quite quickly to power, coming almost maybe out of nowhere with maybe surprising wealth that is starting to gain influence? That
And
may
I
have
think like Smatrell.
On Smatrell-like levels.
Well, that's exactly where the note has come from. Yes,
So they seem to.
So,
mentioned.
may I roll an insight to figure out if both I know what they're talking about and or if that is something that I should or shouldn't disclose?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. 19.
This reminds me of like a scene from I don't know, like the opening of Inglorious Bastards or something, where it's everyone's sort of uneasily trying to figure out how much is
too much information.
How much do you know? How much do I know? What are we sharing? Yeah.
Maybe people are pointing guns under the table at each other.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a message, Cicero.
Right on.
All right,
So while that message is coming through, so Tabitha, everyone, if you remember that letter, one of the letters from that we and I believe it was Tabitha who took it. There was a communication about a politician rising that was funneling money to Smetrel. So that's the lead I'm going for here.
it could be here or in Carthen, who knows?
From Smith.
It's here. Asley was referenced. Yes.
Was referenced?
It was referenced that it was Asley, so.
Okay.
And I have like a little bit of a moment of PTSD of
Yes.
getting into that house.
And getting out of it, yes.
Yeah.
Barely.
And I just kind of take a huge chug
Rigel.
of my beer.
Do you remember when I was little and you used to put me on your shoulders so I can look above the crowd and spy my way around? Well, in a way, I want to ask you, have you found ways to spy among the crowd and see anyone or anything of any questionable nature lately, outside of what we've already asked? Any person, any shrouded figure, anyone?
Well, no one notices rats, but rats notice everyone. I'll just say that.
Well, if you want to send me underground in the shadows, I'm quite effective with blending in and becoming one of these rats. Your choice, of course, but point the way and...
I should also
Yes.
mention that despite my adornment this evening, I am quite skilled at blending in to the shadows as well. Although I will say I don't prefer literal rats very much.
Well, sometimes you need to get dirty. I have a question,
Sure, by all means.
if I may.
Okay.
Of course.
The fancy one.
Oh yes, that's got to be me.
Not the well-adorned one,
Oh.
but the fancy one.
Oh, that must be Otto.
I just kind of tap her on the...
Who kind of talks like this?
I have been looking in a mirror, like getting something out of my teeth at that moment. I'm
Charlie is obsessed.
yes, of course.
You seem to pretend that you have information.
Yes, well, of course. We should get about sharing with you what we've learned regarding the necromancers. Of course, all that I would ask in return is that we could be assured a chance to meet with the Regent and pass this information along firsthand.
Well, the only thing that you can be assured is that the information will make it to the Regent. You can, as his second in command,
Well,
you can hand that information over to me. Is there a name? Is there
Yes, there
any
is.
information that you can give me? Yes.
Rigel, just so you know, once we tell you you have this information, people have been killed for it.
Oh, better men than you have tried.
Well, I'm
And
glad to hear
failed.
that. I'm
And
glad to hear that.
Yes.
Just while all this is happening, I want to do like a check in the tavern just to see if there are people spying about.
Yeah.
Just really subtly.
Roll a perception for me.
Okay, that looks like a 14.
Okay. I'll say, because you're all huddled together over this table and you're all leaning in close and you have your drinks and you're having this very obviously whispered conversation, that thought occurs to you and you turn quickly to look and you see, mostly you see a room of revelers, people just drinking and some dancing and listening to the music. But there is a table where you just happen to catch this, like the last second of somebody who just looks away and and there's just something about the movement that you keep watching the person, but they don't come back and they don't look back at you. But there's just something about the delay and the look away that caught your eye.
Ethically,
Okay.
eh, gang?
Yes, we have a name. Are we all in agreement, group, that we're going to drop these names and give these information? I don't want to speak for all of us without a yes from all.
Well, I trust Rigel's family, so yes. Yes,
As
for
a
me.
token of good faith, I think, yes, we should
I say yes as
share
well.
what we know. I hope, like I said,
Tabitha?
Yes.
like I said, I would like the opportunity to speak with the region, but by all means, this information needs to be heard by those committed to fighting the necromancers. Seville,
Ariset, do we have a yes from you?
Yes. And Rigel, you do well to know that little ears seem to be watching us even as we convene right now.
Very astute, which is why this conversation is happening in our minds.
Yes. And I go, in an attempt
Exactly.
to appear frivolous.
Yes.
There's a man called Koskar.
Koskar.
He seems to be a leader of the necromancers, the cult of Fernouge. They're trying to bring back the god of corruption.
Should I roll a history?
Yeah,
or-
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Because you do have some of this information. Let's see.
A 24.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay.
You remember the documents that you have been provided that have made you unhappy and sitting a little uneasy because you haven't got as much information as you wanted. So you've been sending your people out to gather more. And one of the names,
The rats.
yes, the rats, not Koskar, but Koska. You do remember a name Koska as being somebody who would be visiting at some point who is supposed to be given free reign. And you didn't like that. And so you've been investigating more.
This is both comforting and troubling because this name is not unfamiliar to my ears or thoughts, as it were. Ha ha ha! And he lets out a good laugh, and is trying to send out the cue for all of you to laugh at the same time.
And Saki's laughs. He's like,
Like trying to
And I catch her at such chair just before she like falls backwards. I'm like, good. Okay.
So you know this Koska.
I know of the reputation of this person.
Well, he's been given and granted access to the Edgeguard. There is I don't know if you know the Lara Arena, who heads up the Edgeguard. I believe she's been compromised mentally, along with a agent. Her name is Tene. And I believe that they have been taken over mentally. And this might be my naivete or refusal to see that the Edgeguard have been compromised. But I
What
think
leads you to believe they have been compromised?
well, we know. We've been to Makutha, above Luknor. The entire town of Luknor was under a spell.
Lukno is where I was for 5 years, and let me tell you, that place was quite the blind spot, and taken over by spells that were cast by the necromancers.
It's
We
the old
also came across other places that had spells and had similar situations, like that town where it was like an enchantment where it kept repeating over and over again. And then while Otto and I were escaped into human trafficking. There was this town that appeared and then disappeared. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well,
So
there's
they're
generally
chasing-
a lot going on in cities.
Something right.
In simplicity, they're trying to bring back Fernouge. And they want revenge against an archmage. I don't know if you've heard of this archmage named Drevin. He apparently is the one who has caused our problem here in Anacroli, the parting, or the departing.
Should
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, no, I was just going to ask if I should roll a history on Trevin.
Actually, yeah, this is an interesting one. So let's let the dice decide.
Interesting.
Yeah,
21.
21.
You're rolling good.
Rolling well. All right.
Well, you know, so full disclosure. So Rigel's a politician,
Yes.
and not only is he a politician, but he is a legacy to Aslay. His family has been here for a long time, and he is well versed in the family's history. He's well versed in the city's history. So his biggest attribute is his ability to understand history. And as a politician, you can think about some of the other tools that he has in his disposal that he has finely tuned over the years. So yes,
Excellent.
so 21.
Yep, I'm sending you another message.
The
Okay.
assassin skills, if he's a politician, then
Yes.
it's information that impacts me.
So apparently this Drevin betrayed his fellow necromancers, used them to trap or to depart Anacroli from its mainland. And in a revenge scheme, this Koska wants to free Fernouge to go after Drevin. It's a bit of a triangle, and any more information, we'd be appreciative on that front.
Well, that archmage is in the east. Trevin is, but
The volcano, correct?
what, yes. But what makes you think they would be here in Aslay?
I don't know.
We were told.
This politician, the one I asked about that was rising in prominence, influence, seems to be working with Drevin because Smetrel had referenced Drevin and resources and armies. And it seems like things are coming to a head that have been hidden in the shadows. I have been called to surrender myself to the cutters here in Asley for questioning, of which I'm not going to do, and I'll be honest with you.
Ooh, bad boy. Like it.
And as you say that, I'm kind of looking around just to make sure no one's watching.
Because I think it's a trap. I know possibly more than the Edge knows about these necromancers and what their plans are.
Well, if it's
And this group as well.
if it's a trap, we could use that to our advantage, then, couldn't we?
And that's where, hopefully, our new acquaintance here.
Right. And I take my shot glass, or my ale glass, and I slam it down and I say, let's cut to the chase, shall we? Rigel, why don't you take us to where the Necros are hiding? A man like you, as plugged in as you are, don't try to fool us into thinking you've thought about this only now. I mean, come on, you must know.
Well, aren't you a bold one? Ha ha. You really have a death wish
Oh,
to face the Necros and challenge them. The Edgeguard and the Necros are some of the most powerful beings around.
oh yes. Well,
Well, there must be something to overpower them.
Do you know of any Edgeguard in the city presently that I may contact or get to before the disinformation spreads?
there are Edgeguard that I trust. But if it is as you said, I must see them first
Of course.
before I can send them to you. I must be sure that they have not been turned.
And if that's the case, then we need people you can trust, though I know you had just met us. We can get your back from the shadows or do work for you in the shadows that others you may have might be compromised or cannot do.
Well, of course, that is the way of a politician. And as I said, you don't become number 2 in this city without having resources of your own.
Rigel,
Yes.
speaking of your
Undoubtedly
resources,
true.
do you know of anyone or anything that could stand against those necromancers in the Edgeguard? Anyone in the ranks? What about the priest that served Chatterell? What about, do you know of anyone that might be able to group together soldiers, priests, clerics? Who can we talk to so we can rally them and make a group effort, because we know that divided we will fall. I think we all know that.
Or better yet, we have our own little private mission that can cut the legs right off of the necromancers. If you could work on an alliance, a secret alliance, gathering your resources, armies, anyone who could be prepared to fight, we can take care of what we need to take care of, because we can't linger here for too long.
Yes, we can
need
be
to get
those rats.
We need to get ahead of these necromancers. We have.
Yes, and listen to me, Rigel. You're obviously very invested in politics as usual, and I am sure you imagine yourself to have quite a bit of power in the position that you've accumulated thus far. But here's an offer for you, because we are no small shakes, our little band. Imagine a new realm, an era where neither necromancers or something worse hold sway. Something long-standing, something tenable, something good. And imagine the role you could play and how valuable that would be to those who write the system. So what do you say? Just take us to where you know they are. I'm sure your favor won't go amiss.
This
And
one.
I elbow Otto, and I like kind of like gesture towards Arisette, and I'm like,
Well, that's why we call this one wild sauce.
Well, that is fitting. That is fitting. We've got Dr. Never Ale, and you have Mistress Always Ale.
Oh no!
He drinks wine.
One more cute.
And at that moment, you see this elven man kind of stumbles by and kind of sorry, no, I thought you some need another drink.
I'm immediately going right into his. I'm going to try to do a little fast fingers on this guy to see what he's holding. See if this isn't a big scam or a joke. As
Oh
he's-
yeah. I'm
He
on
just
high
kind of
alert.
comes up. He doesn't like touch any of you, but he just comes up like he's kind of falling and stops himself and like looks at you guys and then stumbles away.
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
going to try
an
to
immediate
take
scan
something.
as
I'm
well.
going to try to lift something right off of his.
Sure.
you're snatching something from
Roll
him?
a sleight of hand.
Okay.
And I'm doing an investigation of just whatever the fuck he's about.
You're just trying to figure out what it is.
Investigating his own.
Why don't you do an insight for me, Arisette?
Insight?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, sleight of hand is 23.
Okay. Yeah. So you
Sleight of hand.
And as I'm doing it, I'm giving Tabby a little wink.
and Tab, you're doing it too?
Tabitha's like rolling her eyes.
Or no?
No, she's in party mode.
Okay. That's
She said tonight was for partying, okay?
so. This guy stumbles close, and Seville, you just reach over Tabitha, like, and your hand just goes right in to his pocket and comes out with something. You feel something like metal or something, and he stumbles away, doesn't feel it, Tabitha, you notice it because he reaches over and just does it beautifully. Just right when the guy started
Good
to turn.
catch.
And you look down in your hand and you've got like a ball bearing, like a single ball bearing.
And I'm like,
But it's a little bit
well
larger than a normal
done,
ball bearing.
Seville. Congratulations
So
on your
the
ball
tricks-
bearing.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna pocket that. I'll say excuse me for a moment, and I'm gonna get up
Sure.
and I'm just gonna follow him for a second.
He's known to disappear at times.
Okay.
Rigel. So
Meanwhile, I get a 12 on this elf with Mr. Sloppy Hands.
Yeah, you're not quite sure.
Like, ew.
You feel like the moment was weird, but
Yeah.
he definitely looks drunk and is really selling it, and you're in this deep conversation, so you're like, and Seville's got it. So then you just kind of turn back to Rigel.
And I just say into the minds of everybody, I'll be right back. That's an edge guard. And I'm gonna just follow him and just kind of see where he's lingering, and maybe find my time to put my arm around him and say, "You look like a merry man. Let me buy you a drink."
Well, as you start to follow him, Seville, and again, this place is packed, and you're immediately up on his heels, and you see him ahead. You're kind of losing him for a moment as the crowd moves in and out ahead of you, and he's kind of stumbling, like puts a hand up on the wall, and you see he just heads to the door and heads out and goes to the right. You gonna follow?
Before he kind of I am. I'm gonna follow.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow.
You go outside, you pass several people who are coming in, a couple people are leaving, going off to the left. You just
I'm
catch
keen on an ambush. I'm keen on an ambush, being led astray. So I got
Okay.
my.
meanwhile, we're back talking at the
Yeah.
tavern still, right?
Yeah. So Seville, as you make your way, you just see him disappear around the corner, stumbling. You see him like hold on to the wall for a moment and then go. We'll jump back
he
to you
alone?
all.
Okay.
So, Rigel, I wanted to say to you, I think what we're talking about here, we're talking about the power of the Necros and how overwhelming it is. But you see, if the kingdoms would take a unified stance against them, to call them out for what they are, to not broker treaties with them, but instead see them for the vile perpetrators of necromancy that they are, then we could organize against them. But this can only be done if we have an opportunity to persuade the leadership. Surely you see what I mean?
Well, you're talking to the leadership right
Well,
now.
have I persuaded you?
What you have persuaded me is to look into this further. But officially, all treaties are legal. So, to say that someone is evil when they have performed legal documents and have done nothing illegal.
And as he's talking,
And I'm gonna just try to describe in my head mentally to him. I'm gonna be like, okay, so just imagine like a lot of blood pools.
oh, I'm gonna do you one better.
Pools and rivers of blood constantly. Just
As he-
everywhere we go, there's a
as
new
he's-
pool or river of
So
blood.
as he was talking, what I was doing is I'm like nodding along, like eyebrows like very raised, and then I pull out the Book of Fornouche, and I set it onto the table.
In the bar? How
And
risky.
right in the middle, and I flip it open to about the midway where it's like somewhere with a dog ear folded page where it's like the most grotesque picture of like the rituals that they would perform. And I kind of put it down on the table and I unfold it and I just say, well, I'm happy to hear that it is formally under investigation, but as you can see here, this is no trifling matter.
Well,
Again, think blood pools.
any threat to Asley, I take seriously. This is my home. This was the home of my father, and his father, and his father before him, and his father before him, and his father before him,
Oh, yep.
and his father before him,
Noted.
and his
Getting shivers.
father
Father
before
before
him.
him. And let me guess, his father before
Someone
him.
needs to bang him on the shoulder to see if the record.
Just gotta do like a hand over in front of his face.
And there was that one stepfather, and we're like, oh,
Point taken.
That one got it.
So I just, I like point a finger down at the book and I say, well, that's very reassuring to hear.
This
is how serious we're dealing with.
Well, this is what I can do. I will find the people that I trust. I will round up a group, a sizable group, a formidable group that will be at the ready to strike down any character, creature, regent, anyone, being that plans to do harm to my home. And if you speak true, we will be ready when you are ready. And together, we will win the day.
Aye. And I just
Hell
like, raise my glass. Like,
You all get inspirational hit points because that was so good.
Yes, we're all ready.
I say,
I was ready to win the day right now.
Yeah. Let's go fucking kill him.
Kill these beers. Kill
All
them.
right. And on that note, that amazing note, we cut back outside Seville. You just saw.
One question.
Yeah.
Is the telepathy at range, or am I still connected to the group?
what is the
That
range on that?
is a good question. Let's find out. Through D&D Beyond. It is a range of 30 feet.
Yeah, so you hear, and then it just
No, sir.
it just cuts off for you,
Oh, dang.
and it's perfect timing because you make it to the door, and you lose the telepathy, and you step outside, and it's cooler night air, and you hear a couple laugh, some people laughing as they're passing over to the left, but you see that person just disappear over to your right on the edge of the building, and you hear, and it sounds like he's throwing up around the corner.
All right, I'm gonna go over there cautiously, but not obviously, and make my way. As soon as I can see him,
Okay.
I want to stay into his mind. It is better to see a friend die than.
And you're saying that as you come around the corner mentally, ready to see. And instead of seeing a person kind of folded over, throwing up, you see a person who's standing there. His whole aspect has changed. He's standing there, he's eyeing you. He's got two rapiers, one in each hand. Their blades are pointed down.
Is it a duel?
And in a moment, you hear in your mind, you still fire that off because you were ready, and then you just kind of falter. And you hear back in your mind, are you coming in, Ronta? Or are we taking you in?
And now
It's not
kind
just
of-
me, by the way. Loire told us you were tricky.
But here's the thing. You haven't examined Larara Tane. You don't know what's going on, my brother. She's been compromised, and I'm a little sad to see you've let your mind become twisted.
Oh, my
What
mind's
happened
not
to the
twisted,
spitefulness
my
of the
friend.
Mendeleer? Are you kidding me?
Are you buying
These
time? Give me
necromancers.
your answer, or we're doing this.
Well, I
Drop
guess
your
we're doing this,
weapons.
friend.
Drop your weapons. Drop your
Oh,
gears.
no.
Come on.
Well,
Don't make us kill
I'm gonna
you.
hurt you, my brother.
I take
Got
you
your
in.
back,
I don't
bro.
kill you. We fight. You're dead.
And I just give up.
And he brings his blades together. And
Yes.
so they'll give you just and what, boom! And and at that moment when you realize that you're fighting back, and his blades come up, and he starts to move forward, you hear these sounds coming in from 4 different directions.
Uh-oh.
And we're gonna leave it there tonight, everyone. We're gonna come back next week and see what happens with Seville making
we
it
can,
too easy for me.
You know, I just can't believe that Seville would ever go off on his own and get into trouble.
Like him.
He's never done such a thing.
But a big thank you to Cicero Holmes. My God, Cicero,
was a
thanks for joining us, brother.
So good.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
I love this dwarf. I love the way you're playing him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. You know,
That was really
That voice.
yeah, it's
So dope.
It's amazing.
just playing along with you guys. Tomorrow I'll be hoarse.
Yeah.
But everything. But today I sounded awesome. Hopefully.
You sounded great. You've got a week.
Right, I've
Hopefully
got a
you're
week,
available
yeah.
to come back next week and
right.
and see
I
the
got to do it
conclusion.
again.
Yeah, you got to do it one more time. That was in the make-believe contract.
You would never.
Right.
No, I'm only kidding. But the
It was a lot of
character
fun.
is just like, oh, good.
Yeah, we've set up for a big
Absolutely.
episode next
So
week, y'all.
mystical.
So definitely come back and see what this group gets up to. Thank you to all our new followers and to our subscribers, and we love
Thank
every
you,
single one
guys.
of you. And another big thank you to Cicero. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you next week. Thanks for letting us make your Monday a hell of a lot better.
And tune in for Numenera on
Oh, yes.
Wednesday, everybody.
See you Wednesday for Numenera,
Yes.
8 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss that. All right.
Oh, and thanks for the
what's that?
And look at that.
Stubby stand.
Stubby stand.
Thank you for subscribing.
Oh, is that you, Cicero?
Oh, that is me. I am Stubby Stan.
I only know that from your ship.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
to you.
thank you, brother. All right. I love
Thank
you
you,
all.
sir.
We'll see you next
Pleasure
week.
to have you. Love you guys.
Next time.
See you.